Hurricane Harvey, Irma and Maria wreaked havoc when they made landfall. They were all categorized as major hurricanes, but part of what made them so dangerous was how they rapidly intensified before moving inland. When hurricanes intensify a large amount in a short period of time, scientists call this process rapid intensification. This is the hardest aspect of a storm to forecast, and it can be most critical to people's lives. While any hurricane can threaten lives and cause damage with storm surges, floods, and extreme winds, a rapidly intensifying hurricane can greatly increase these risks while giving populations limited time to prepare and evacuate. Rapid intensification occurs when a hurricane's maximum sustained winds increase at least 35 miles per hour in 24 hours and often results in major hurricanes. The latest Atlantic storm to rapidly intensify was Hurricane Maria, which developed from a Category 1 to a Category 5 hurricane in less than 18 hours. In the past few decades, forecasting errors for tracking hurricanes have decreased. While intensity forecast errors have shown recent improvement, significant errors can still occur because of rapidly intensifying storms. There are, however, clues to a rapidly intensifying hurricane that can be seen from NASA satellites. Scientists say ocean water needs to be warm, 80 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. There also needs to be low vertical wind shear, meaning winds that don't change much with altitude, so that the central part of the storm doesn't get tilted over or ripped apart. A key indicator of a potentially rapidly intensifying storm is a symmetrical deep ring of precipitation surrounding the eye. Rapidly intensifying storms typically occur up to twice in a hurricane season. But in 2017, we have seen 4 storms rapidly intensify, and scientists attribute this to warmer ocean waters and favorable winds. But these key ingredients don't always lead to rapid intensification, proving that it's a much more complex problem. Researchers say there are many small-scale processes, such as those associated with deep thunderstorms, that influence how strong a hurricane becomes. Satellites such as NASA's Global Precipitation Measurement Mission can observe precipitation inside evolving storms and help scientists better understand how these processes come together to intensify hurricanes.
Hi everybody, thank you for joining me. House-sized asteroid will come damn close to Earth next week as it passes only 27,000 miles away. We've never had a satellite hit by a meteorite, at least that they're emitting to, or even an asteroid. And who knows what could deflect this asteroid where it would hit Earth or one of our satellites. It is coming closer than what they initially thought. The planet Earth will experience a very close encounter with an asteroid the size of a house on October 12th. The space rock will zoom past at about 27,300 miles, which is an eighth of the distance from the Earth to the Moon, according to the European Space Agency. The farthest satellites are 36,000 kilometers out. So this is indeed a close. Luckily, it looks that humanity will live to fight another day because the asteroid will not whack into our planet. Well, I hope not. We know for sure that there is no possibility for this object to hit Earth. Detlef Koshny of ESA's research team told AFP. The asteroid is dubbed 2012 TC4 and first flitted past our Earth on October 2012, at about double the distance before disappearing. It is between 15 and 30 meters long and was traveling at a speed of about 9 miles per second when
Tribulation 9. And the fifth angel blew his trumpet, and I saw a star fallen from heaven to earth, and he was given the key to the shaft of the bottomless pit. He opened the shaft of the bottomless pit, and from the shaft rose smoke, like the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened with the smoke from the shaft. Then from the smoke came locusts on the earth, and they were given power like the power of scorpions of the earth. They were told not to harm the grass of the earth or any green plant or any tree, but only those people who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads. They were allowed to torment them for 5 months, but not to kill them. And their torment was like the torment of a scorpion when it stings someone. And in those days people will seek death, and will not find it. They will long to die, but death will flee from them. In appearance the locusts were like horses prepared for battle. On their heads were what looked like crowns of gold. Their faces were like human faces, their hair like women's hair, and their teeth like lions' teeth. They had breastplates like breastplates of iron, and the noise of their wings was like the noise of many chariots with horses rushing into battle. They have tails and stings like scorpions, and their power to hurt people for 5 months is in their tails. They have as king over them the angel of the bottomless pit. His name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in Greek he is called Apollyon. The first woe has passed. Behold, 2 woes are still to come.
Forget the cash or the plastic. Now your payment option is right at your fingertips, literally. Customers at the Cost Cutter supermarket at London's Brunel University are the first in the world to pay for their groceries with finger vein scanners.
But today, this shop became the first supermarket on the planet to use the new technology.
Another step, or finger to be precise, towards consigning cards and cash to history. Works by using a small infrared scanner to detect unique patterns in the veins in a person's fingertips. The information is then linked to a customer's bank details.
So digital services can offer seamless coming into this world, seamless life in Europe for all our citizens, if we take it in our hands to guarantee for them. But this is not the only thing which we need to do, of course. One thing is identity. One thing is digital services.
So, do you think it's more inspiring or alarming overall to have this kind of technology available to us?
Overall, it's pretty alarming because nobody really realized how it is changing our world, and nobody really realized the side effect it is going to have on our political regime, whether they are authoritarian regime or democracies. All those regimes are going to change deeply because of those technology. And this is a question nobody really asked the people who govern us.
On these screens, you can see that every person in the room is filmed real-time. The grid you see here is analyzing my face. Our cameras can now recognize me, even from the side or when my head rotates 30 degrees to the left or right, or 15 degrees up or down.
All employees at the company have given their face prints. Cameras film and record every move.
Meanwhile, the technology continues to advance, and researchers are looking at even more complex and advanced algorithms for this sort of
thing. I mean, just a couple of examples over the last month. Cambridge University now say they're looking at a system, they've developed a system which could potentially identify people with scarves over their faces or wearing hats. So, I mean, you're looking at something potentially in the future when this technology really does start to take off, where you could walk past a camera and you're automatically added to a database. You wouldn't necessarily know about it, and therefore, you know, as your human rights may say, well, you can complain and get something done, you just wouldn't even know that it had happened.
You know, should we start thinking about this as AI as kind of a basic human right? You know, if you go over to the United Nations, you know, they have a wall with the basic human rights, the things that they believe in. Is this going to be so fundamental to our society that every country should have, every person, every company should have some kind of democratized access, that AI is a basic human right? And that is AI is not an SDG, today, but should it be? Or should it be part of all the SDGs?
It's hailed as progress, but also poses ethical questions.
With the rapid development speed of artificial intelligence and robotization, it is no longer a question of what machines can and cannot do. It is rather a question of what they should and should not do. Ethical issues related to the development of technology are clearly becoming greater relevance.
They're coming out with a new model in 2018 that I guess is anatomically correct.
Okay, but that's even creepier.
Talking head, programmable personality.
But see, that's even creepier. The closer they creep to being like a very, very sort of realistic human being, the more that actually freaks us out.
And let me tell you something, M-Chan, and I know you understand this. When artificial intelligence really kicks in, And we're talking this taking off exponentially. You're going to see these things. They're not even robots. You'll be seeing stories about it. You'll be seeing features about it. Not just, but robots that aren't even robots, that are so human, so human-like. You will see a very scary psychological, psychiatric transformation in some cases. This is like nothing we've ever seen before.
Our focus now turns to a series of worrisome events along the Ring of Fire that are pointing to a potential catastrophe in our near future. Considering recent events including 3 devastating Atlantic hurricanes, destructive earthquakes in Mexico, and the apocalyptic wildfires that are sweeping through the western United States, it would be prudent for the common person to establish basic provisions in the hope of surviving these natural disasters. Earth is evolving, but the major events of recent weeks provide some clues to the changes across our planet and the dangers that each event poses to our safety and our well-being. Right now, all eyes are focused on the Pacific Ring of Fire, as there is a growing list of volcanic eruptions and tectonic tremors that are happening across this region. For those not too familiar with this region of the world, the Ring of Fire is a massive circle of volcanoes along the perimeter of the Pacific Ocean basin. Made up of 452 volcanoes, the Ring of Fire marks the edges of a tectonic zone where the Pacific Ocean floor rises to form the western edge of North and South America, and the islands along the eastern edge of Asia and Australia. It spans nearly 25,000 miles in distance and is the world's primary source of earthquakes and volcanic activity. Here's what we know so far about the potential dangers that are awaiting those who dwell in these areas. An unprecedented eruption of Ambi, an island in the South Pacific nation of Vanuatu, is taking place in the increasingly active eruption of the Manaro volcano, as shown in this video clip. On the Indonesian island of Bali, 144,000 people have been taken to shelters after a code red alert was implemented for Mount Agung, where an explosive eruption is imminent. In North America, 2 horrendous earthquakes in Mexico in September have caused widespread destruction and mounting fear of more earth-shattering events to come. In the wake of the devastating earthquakes in Mexico City and in the Central Valley, the volcanic activity at the nearby Popocatépetl volcano has increased significantly. A number of other volcanoes have also sprung to life, such as in Costa Rica and in Japan. Swarms of earthquakes have been detected at Yellowstone, numbering more than 2,300 since June. The last volcanic eruption in this region was 70,000 years ago. There are reports surfacing that NASA plans to drill into the supervolcano to release heat that is building up around the caldera. But such a project is very dangerous as it could trigger an eruption with dire consequences. Not far from Yellowstone, the state of Idaho has experienced a series of earthquakes and tremors since September 2nd, when a magnitude 5.3 earthquake hit near Soda Springs, which was felt as far away as Salt Lake City. Within the past year, Idaho, which is rarely associated with earthquakes, has been jolted by over 300 of them, raising serious concerns that the intense seismic activity could lead to the possibility of an eruption of the supervolcano. In recent weeks, the ocean has receded from beaches along the Atlantic coast of South America, Europe, Africa, and North America. Scientists have said that the unprecedented phenomenon is due to recent storms that are sucking up all of the waters in the Atlantic. This is, however, an event that has happened numerous times along the Atlantic coast of South America since August, and it is difficult to believe that on each occasion a giant storm was responsible for these strange events. So what is really going on along these coastlines? The phenomenon started in Uruguay in August of this year and then progressed to Brazil, where the tidal retreat remains unexplained and not understood. In late September, these images were posted, which clearly shows the water receding again along the beaches of Garatuba, Brazil. But this time, there were no giant storms off the coast that were gathering up the water, no tsunami, and therefore no reason to explain the continuation of this anomalous event. So why is the water mysteriously disappearing, and where is it going? It would seem that some other mysterious ocean phenomenon is playing a major role in South America. So as the water continues to recede along the coast of the South American continent. There is no one who can explain why this is happening. If you follow the weather reports, as I do, and as many others have, then you know that climate change is running rampant. It has virtually reached a point in which its effects on the planet are becoming irreversible. We still do not know for certain what is causing these sudden and drastic changes on our planet. I have argued the point that the primary cause can be associated with the presence of a powerful source of cosmic energy in our solar system. The existence of a large celestial body or system of planets that are now wreaking havoc on the Earth, which could also explain many of the strange and anomalous events that are now happening on a global scale. However, it can also be argued that something else is at play here. It is possible that today's climate ailments are being produced by man-made engineering, what is referred to as the intentional alteration of the Earth's climate. It's a process that has happened over years of observation, and no one really knows if or when it will end. The practice of cloud seeding goes back to the 1940s, with the intention of dissipating severe storms or producing precipitation. But it is believed that the intent today is to alter the world's climate rather than any weather-related event. Just recently, a complex solar halo formed in the skies over Brazil. This sky anomaly is believed to be the result of cloud seeding air pollutants, in which ice crystals form that refract and reflect light, thus creating this phenomenal sky manifestation. These clouds